Another beautiful day in Croatia with a sprint tactic I've never seen executed quite like this before. Stage 2 finishing in Novalja, and it's short, 114.5 Ks, goes along the coast or on these little islands, or Viviani won yesterday, and yeah, it was going to be really attractive. Beautiful weather, not that favourable wind conditions for exciting racing. Cor and Skok, Hammerscheid and Casper, the four riders in the breakaway, controlled by Ineos because, yeah, Viviani had the cleanest pair of heels in the sprint yesterday. Rowe keeping that break in check. Maybe Tobias Lund Andersen, he looked good late. Could he pose a threat to Viviani? But there were a few hills on the course, but which team would want to take it up? Would Bahrain try and full send it? Would Ineos go for Sheffield and Hayter, who are their GC guys for the race? Would Trek light it up for Simmons, he's very good in races like this, and he even won a sprint stage in San Juan. But as you can see, the wind direction, I think, was cross headwind at a point, and Mohoric came forward, and I was thinking, oh, is he about to launch it up this little rise, try to take back time that he lost yesterday? The answer was no, he was just getting a bit on, because Ineos had a full team, and it's 40 k's from the finish. What are you going to do? Nothing. So maybe they could add a steeper hill on this stage. There are some steeper hills on the later stages, but yeah, this one was still going to be a bunch sprint, despite Little Trek's best efforts. They come to the front, I believe, with Tolhoek, and catches Rowe by surprise. Perhaps he's trying to get back on, and they're launching it with Simmons third wheel. The problem is you're not going to drop Hayter or Sheffield. Particularly those two climb just about as well as Simmons on these sort of punchy climbs. So maybe they're trying to thin it out and get rid of Viviani to even up the odds for Aberasturi, but no sprinters of particular note were dropped, I don't believe, and it all came back together because it really chilled out after that hill, and the teams we expected to assume formation did, with DSM on the left, Bahrain, Yolo Cometa for Lonardi, I think the Italian sprinter, and Plapp's having a yarn to Hayter about the lead out. Plapp pulled all day, and it really doesn't change the riders on the front for quite a while. DSM changeover, but I feel like Ineos got a little bit greedy after yesterday with their lead out today, because it gets technical in CRO Race sprints most of the time, and I think Plapp needed to be taken over from a bit earlier, and same with then Sheffield later. They had more numbers than everybody else, and Plapp's been pulling a lot all day and on the climbs, and so they're getting beaten through the inside. That right bend, X went the inside the quicker way, and they're having to make up positions. Didn't matter too much. You can see, though, they're split off from Sheffield and Hayter, so it looks like today Hayter would take part in the lead-out, which he didn't do yesterday. There's also an intermediate sprint coming up, like 4Ks from the finish. I must admit, I didn't know it was there, and maybe all the riders did. I don't know if it's 3-2-1 bonies, but Hayter sprinted for it, and he came third, and it was Garcia Pierna, I think, in second. Anyway, onto the sprint. 3Ks to go. Sheffield comes through second wheel, and is Burati for Bahrain. He's about to pull off, and we've got a little kicker here. And I was thinking, are Ineos going to spank it, keep Viviani behind, and go for a flyer with, Paris-Nice Jumbo-Visma style? But you see, Hayter looks once at his power meter here, keeps rolling the tape. Sheffield's spanking it. You see everyone else struggling. Hayter looks at his power meter again, or his head unit rather, I believe, and then he shouts at Sheffield, I think, to slow down. He must have, because you see Aular moving up in the wind, but you look at Q3 6.5, and Sheffield's a beast, right? If he keeps the pressure on, there's no way they're able to move up the open side like this. So he must have slowed down a little bit. So Ineos' plan was clearly to nurse Viviani around, and probably with a group this big, splitting it up too much on that little rise wasn't going to happen anyway. But the problem is, Sheffield's getting tired, and you cannot let Q3 6.5 cross you. There's a right-hander coming up, a squeeze pinch point, and Q3 6.5 cross Ineos, and that's going to be a problem. You see, Ineos, they got 5 riders. Bahrain's got a train of 3. Q365 is only 3. DSM is only 3 or 4, I think. And Ineos have to enter first position through the next corner, and Sheffield's he's motioning that he's done, but they don't. And this is where Viviani loses this stage. See, the barriers, the pinch point. He is 4th of those Ineos riders with Sheffield's second wheel, and I think Aular comes up underneath him, and he's going to lose a lot of positions. So first through was the place to be. You can't say to every team, you got to be first through the right-hand corner. I'm sure every DS wants their team to do that, but in this case, I do think they had the numbers, and Viviani, you see he's lost positions, he's deeper here, and that's going to cost him. He has to fight back. Swift has to go looking for him. Sheffield's looking around. Hayter's now moving Tarling up. You see Viviani's deeper near Grundal Janssen and I think Stewart. And then we're trying to find Swift, and he's looking around, or maybe he hears Viviani. I think here Viviani shouts that he's back on his wheel. But yeah, they're detached in 3 separate groups. And honestly, most of the other sprints teams weren't that much better organized either. Like, X dropped Christoph off with like 3 minutes to go, and Bahrain, I'm not sure, I still don't really know who they're sprinting for. I think it's for Golvikar on this stage, but Tarling pulls off. I would have used him earlier. He's better on a 5-minute, 3-minute pull, and Christoph's dropped off, as I said, here with 400 meters to go. He obviously can't sprint at this point, which is what creates this weird situation with Bahrain launching it here, Leitao getting into his wheel, and then the Venezuelan champ, Aular, looks like he's about to jump and be let out by his teammate, and then it cuts camera angle. Suddenly there's a huge gap. Christoph is launching again. Viviani's coming from deep, but it's too late, and Leitao wins. And this is what, I haven't seen this quite executed like this before. Normally it's already the guys are on each other's wheel, and there's a corner like G with Kwiatkowski in Dauphiné 2021. I've not seen it where the other rider, in fact the A sprinter, sprints with momentum onto Leitao's wheel here. And you see he was coming with momentum, and he clearly parks it. He pretends to take his wheel, and then, I can't pedal anymore. Absolutely genius finessing, because the wheel was there to take. It's not like he did anything dangerous to barge everyone off it. He just finessed everybody. Aular and Leitao was strong too. Viviani, I think, is the quickest guy here, but I've never seen anything executed quite like that, and it had to have a weird race situation happen. But yeah, Caja take probably their biggest win of the season, with Leitao ahead of Viviani, then Christoph third. Here's what he had to say after the stage.
For us, it's a really nice victory for a Pro Conti team with such a good World Tour teams with such a good lead out. We were confident that we could win, because the team is confident on me, on my sprint, so I tried to save as much as I could. The team helped me all the day to be as comfort as possible. So in the end, it was just fight for the position, and the legs were there. So we are pretty happy.
Did the short format stage help you?
Yeah, I think so. It made a fast with a short distance. It made a fast day. So less than 3 hours for me is good. And then I think for all the team was easier to work, because it was less kilometers. So in the final part was just keeping the confidence and being in the front.
Who do you think's winning GC here? Simmons, Hayter, Sheffield? I'm not sure who Ineos will go for. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you with a recap of Stage 3 tomorrow. Ciao.